business. The Employer Excellence Programme. Learn more at falterireland.ie.
Londonderry and Letterkenny Chambers are hosting a CBPES Employers Incentives Lunch for cross-border employers on Tuesday, 25th of October at the Millennium Forum from 12 noon. Receive information and advice from a range of business support organisations. Book your free place by emailing Wendy at londonderrychamber.co.uk.
OK, you're welcome back. More than 100 homeowners in the Cloughaneely area have come forward complaining about leaks in their homes, which they claim are being caused by an alkaline treatment in the water eroding copper pipes. We've talked about this on the programme before. The homes are all served by the Goat Hawk Falcara water treatment plant in Ardsbeg. So Donegal homeowners are coming together to take a group legal action over pipe leaks. Cormac Hartnett is the solicitor with Hartnett Hayes Solicitors, LLP Dunlow, and he joins us on the programme now. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today, Cormac.
My pleasure, Greg. Good morning.
Right. Can you give us more background on the plight of these homeowners, please?
Sure. Well, I suppose we're dealing with the Loch Laha plant, which is situated in Gorta Hork, and that was regraded in 2018. And it became apparent then in 2021 that many an alarming number of the householders were all suffering from the same ailment, which was a myriad of small leaks in their copper pipes within their homes. So Michael McGill-Aspuk, the councillor, brought it to my attention as parties were very concerned that the obvious problem might be the obvious problem, i.e. the water. So we then became on board and we arranged for independent testing through an independent laboratory down the country. And we then had those test results analysed by a suitable engineer. And unfortunately, it has been confirmed that the suspicions of those on the ground, including the homeowners, is confirmed by the science. And in essence, that means that the manner of the treatment of the water within the plant is such that it is not dealing with the low alkaline levels or the over acidic levels, if you like. And as a consequence of that, when the water passes through the copper pipes, a chemical reaction ensues, which degrades the copper piping and causes these painful losses. How
do you establish blame here? Is it easy to suggest that maybe, I don't know, that in other words, an action do you have to prove, that whomever, Irish Water, should have known that this particular chemical makeup of this water would interact in this particular way with copper piping, for example? I mean, do you have to prove that, or what way does this case play out?
So the onus is on the plaintiff. So the person who makes the assertion has to prove that assertion. So the onus is upon us to prove that the suppliers of the water were negligent in the provision of that water. In other words, that it was foreseeable that the release of that water into homes which traditionally are served with copper piping would foreseeably result in damage to that piping. And I suppose the evidence that we have is that the water is of such an alkalinity or a low alkalinity that it's very obvious that low alkalinity will then interact in a chemical fashion with the copper piping and resulting in, as I say, in a degrading of that copper piping.
Could have a huge impact on homeowners, of course. It might be a pinhole just under a radiator or in an airing cupboard. It could be in an attic, presumably, or under a concrete floor and go unnoticed for quite a long time. So what kind of damage has been caused to people's houses as a result of the corruption of the copper?
Well, Greg, you're 100% correct in that it is very complex and it is very repetitious. So one of the significant problems that we and the insurers and the solicitors for the insurers will have to contemplate is that even when you fix a leak, and there are many homeowners who've had multiple leaks, and I'm talking about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 leaks, which have resulted in various forms of flooding in their house or various forms of damage. Some of them might be minor leaks, some of them may be got in time, some of them may be in more secluded areas of one's house and you don't notice it until a lot or significant amount of damage has been done. You repair it out of your own funds. Sometimes you go through your house insurance, it's fixed, you think you're okay, but you're not, because sometimes then a further leak occurs, and even if a further leak hasn't occurred, it's probably likely to occur. Because bear in mind, the manner of the degrading of the pipes is such that it causes what we call pinhole corrosions in the pipe. So, but it happens all through the system, particularly in the hot water part of the piping. So the difficulty is that even though people have sustained losses to date, and they're possibly able to quantify what those losses are in terms of how much they had to spend to effect the repairs, the ongoing situation is, how do we deal with the probability of a leak, say, tomorrow?
It would not be unreasonable, I think, for any of these affected homeowners to be nervous of going on holidays for a couple of weeks, not knowing what might happen if the hot water tank has, under decent pressure, has been weakened over time, even if this the water has changed in its compound. Right, so this is described as a group legal action, and we've said it before in different issues here, as far as I'm aware, unless things have changed. We don't have class actions in here like you might see in other countries. So is this you advance a number of cases of 100 or however it might be, and these are test cases, and then, if they are successful, well, then it sets a precedent that all parties really can't ignore?
Yeah, that's majoritively correct. So we have about 60 people at this moment in time, and that number is increasing every week from week to week. But we've about 60 people who have problems at the moment that they've asked us to deal with. So 3 of those cases being the earlier cases, and the cases in relation to which we specifically tested their water into that particular house, they're the more advanced, and proceedings have issued in respect of those cases, and we are dealing with solicitors then for the defendants in the case. And the solicitors for the defendants are on record for the last number of months, and it's good that that has occurred, because now we have somebody on the other side of the equation to talk to and to try and resolve this issue, which is obviously very satisfactory, because that's what everybody needs here. We need a quick resolution. So to my mind, the first thing that needs to be done is we need to change the manner in which the water is being treated, because even as we speak, nothing has changed. So the water that's emanating from Lough Laha at the moment and discharging into the pipes of the various householders in the Gorta Hork area, Clahanneely area, is the exact same as it was when this was first noted in early 2021, which is a year and a half ago. So ergo, the problem continues. The second issue then is we need a commitment from the defendants in relation to what they're going to do in terms of dealing with both historical issues, which is one thing, and that's finite and that's okay. But then the future issues, which are not finite and which need to be assessed. How do we protect the homeowner from a leak next week?
Yeah, but I would be, if I were negotiating with you, I would want to put a cap on this, be it a time cap or whatever it might be. So with that in mind, I presume there would be something of an urgency that if other homeowners think that they might be affected by this, or likely to be affected by this, they don't want to delay too long, I would imagine, because, as I say, it would be one of the first things I would try and, if I were arguing with you and I was trying to come up with a deal. I'm not saying that that's the case. I don't know what their stance is just currently, because I haven't a press release from them. But you know what I mean? I think people need to be conscious that this is not going to be open-ended. It would be a silly thing for me to agree with you to something that is open-ended forever.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we have reputable solicitors now on behalf of the defendants. So hopefully that will allow for things to move on in terms of trying to attain a resolution to these matters. And look, the cat is out of the bag at this point. So, people have to be aware that there is a limitation period on any claim that anyone can ever make anyway. And now that all the householders who are in the area are aware of the fact that there is, as we say, a deficiency in the composition of the water, then they need, if they feel they need to do something, they need to action that now.
Okay, how is this likely to progress time-wise, or in terms of the various stages of this process, Cormac?
Well, I suppose that really depends on the attitude is taken by the defendant, but the proceedings have issued in the circuit court on behalf of the number of defendants that are plaintiffs that I mentioned. If that was to go to, we'll say, a full hearing and came before the court in Letterkenny, that would probably take at least 18 months, possibly 24 months. So there's a considerable period of time potentially before a resolution could be achieved on behalf of the homeowners. But I would certainly hope that we will have some meaningful engagement shortly from them, and that we can try and tease out the issues and try and resolve them.
Is this the first case like this, where a group of homeowners or individuals are taking a coordinated action, I suppose you could describe it, against a utility or a institution like Irish Water?
Yeah, certainly in relation to water, yes. But unfortunately, we've had contacts from other groups in other parts of the county, and indeed as far as County Mayo, in relation to a similar situation. The inherent problem here is that we're dealing with upland lake water, which is bog influenced water, and that is acidic by nature. So therefore it does get treated to deal with that acidity. So any place in Ireland where you have treatment of acidic water or upland lake water or bog water, it is possible that it has been treated in the same manner as the Loch Lahad plant, and therefore it's possible that you're going to have same or similar issues arising therefrom also.
All right. Okay. Listen, thank you very much for the update. I appreciate your time, and we'll watch with interest as to how this progresses. Take care of yourself, Cormac.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you very much indeed. Cormac Hartnett, solicitor with Hartnett Hayes Solicitors LLP, Dunlow. We have sought a press release from Irish Water, none just forthcoming as of yet. But we will keep you all updated as we get information on that.